Okay, I promise in advance I will never do that again at all, but it's October and I'm really excited. Let's do this. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter number 510, entitled The Extinction. Okay, so the chapter opens up with it two people in the... oh my god. There are a few things in my life that I can genuinely be speechless by. But when I read this morning, when I first read this, I had to double back to make sure that this was actually the Bleach chapter I was reading. Because this is... shit, how do I even go into this topic? Okay, first let's start with this. Tekking101 does not support blackface or any variations thereof that promote negative stereotypes of the African-American race, or whatever Kubo was trying to go for in this panel. Yeah, and the only reason I'm mentioning this at all, I mean, I was just going to skip it, but most people, if they're probably going to ask me, like, what I thought of this panel. You know, number one, I can think that maybe, you know, it's different over there in Japan. Like, they don't think of it as much as we do over here in America or other parts of the world. But I can tell you right now, for an editing purposes, when this comes out in English dub or English versions, this panel's most likely going to be edited. So, yeah, get a good look right now if you want to see the original, because I can probably guarantee you with 90% accuracy, when this chapter's released in English Tanaboken, it's probably going to be edited. But, you know, that's my take on it. I really don't know what Kubo was thinking, because, I mean, he's had black characters before. He has. I mean, we had Tozen, we had Jackie. I mean, maybe not as dark as this, but there's no other way you really could have done it. Really, Kubo? I mean, I wouldn't be on this topic so much if it's something that just didn't stand out that much. But, and it's not just me either. I got mail over this morning. But, okay, whatever. Let's just continue. So, we start with the flashback of these two. One's a doctor, one's a nurse. And we have a narration that speaks over two brothers, two identical siblings that are born. And they were actually mixed up as birth because they couldn't tell which one was older and which was younger. One of them was named Lloyd and one of them was named Ryod, which instantly, when I first read this, I immediately thought, oh, this is a backstory of, like, Juha Bach's identical twin or something. But no, that's not the case. It's actually the backstory of Lloyd. Remember him? Yeah, the guy that Kenpachi killed, the guy that turned into himself and then, like, he showed up and just, like, splattered his blood-strewn corpse all over the battlefield. Yeah, that was, this is apparently the story of him. And it's funny because... in the last chapter, when everyone found out that Juha Bach, that Yamamoto was fighting, was actually a fake, everyone was coming up with these crazy, like, not crazy, some of them were crazy, but these explanations as who the real Juha was. Like, it's like, oh, well, the real Juha is this guy's father, or, oh, it's the white-haired Quincy, he must be the real Juha Bach. No one ever thought to think of the Stern Ritter that was introduced not 10 chapters ago, whose ability was to copy people's images. No one even thought of that. But, yeah, so this is his backstory, and it turns out that they both had the ability to, like, replicate each other's appearances, and they actually started doing this in the womb before they were even born. So, you know, in this case, they might not even really be identical, like, naturally, but maybe just because of their abilities, they replicated each other in the womb, and that's just how they ended up the same. So, yeah, they were both the same, and when they were 12, they realized that they could not only imitate each other, but other people. And here's where we get into a bit of a translation error. I hope it's a translation error, otherwise this makes no sense. But, basically what it says is that Lloyd was able to imitate somebody's power and techniques, but not their appearance, and he was the older brother. The younger brother, Ryod, was able to imitate people's memories and their mind, but not their appearance. Okay, so from the way this is read right now in this translation, neither of them were able to replicate appearances, even though you just said that they replicated each other's appearances. And obviously, one of them had to replicate Kenpachi, and the other one had to replicate Juha Bach's physical appearances. So that is most likely a translation error right there. I'm just going to go on the fact that maybe one of them wasn't able to... See, that's the thing I don't get. They both replicated somebody else's physical appearances as well as their powers in their mind. Maybe Lloyd, who fought Kenpachi, wasn't able to replicate his mind so much as his physical power because Kenpachi had to say, I just had to get stronger than myself. So maybe it was apparent that Lloyd was the one, he replicated, you know, Kenpachi's abilities and power, but not his memory. And Ryod would make sense for Juha because he was able to remember all the old comrades, and he was able to remember Yamamoto in the past, and, you know, like, oh, well, his Bankai did that 1,000 years ago. That all makes sense. The only thing I don't get is the thing on they can't replicate physical appearances, which they clearly have been shown to do. Another thing that's interesting as a side note is that if you get confused who Lyod and Ryod is, Kubo probably did this intentionally, but anyone that knows, anyone that watches or reads manga that's translated over to English, you may notice that with a lot of character names, the letter L and R can get switched up sometimes. This is because the symbol in Japan for L and R, when it's translated over to English, it looks extremely similar. That's why, like, in a lot of English dubs this will happen. Like in the original 4Kids dub of One Piece, that's why they called Zoro Zolo. In the Yu-Gi-Oh dub of One Piece, in the Yu-Gi-Oh dub, they called Malik Merrick. You know, that's just, it gets mixed up really quickly. Usually not that big of a deal, but Kubo probably did that intentionally because L and R sound the same. So then we come back to the present, where Yamamoto notices that Juha is apologizing to the real Juha Bach, and Yamamoto realizes, wait a second, who would their boss be apologizing to? So he turns around, and he remembers back a little bit to, you know, what Juha said to him, like, oh, this is the war that you started yourself, so why would you be apologizing at all, let alone to yourself? But anyway, he turns around, and Yamamoto declares, who are you? Just as a huge explosion erupts from behind him, and he realizes it's actually from the 1st Division barracks. He then shouts Okiba, which I believe Okiba was the guy, the 3rd seat of the 1st Division that he left in charge of the 1st Division, who is most likely dead by now, but we only saw him in one panel anyway, so no one really cares about him. So the next page, the real Juha Bach, who, your guess on where he was hiding, or maybe he just like showed up out of nowhere using the shadow thing or whatever, that would actually make sense because he was like behind Yamamoto, like he was being Yamamoto's shadow, so that would make a lot of sense where he came from. But he shows up and he thanks Stern Richard Y, Lloyd, Ryod. This is where we get really confusing with the L's and the R's. This is Ryod, right? Pretty sure this is Ryod. They look identical, but yeah, he thanks him for the job well done. Sir, you said that I did well? That's such an honor coming from... You're gonna blow my head up right now, aren't you? Yeah, sorry, but it's kind of my thing. Yeah, that pretty much any doubts of this was the actual real Juha, blowing up your subordinates' heads for doing exactly what they've been told. That's the Juha Bach we've come to know and love ever since he was introduced, like, what, like 20 chapters ago? Yeah, that's our guy. So, yeah, he's been stating... So Yamamoto, he's actually pretty unfazed by the fact that he just wasted an entire battle, 5 chapters of a battle, focused on this one guy who wasn't even actually him, which begs another question, like, I guess Ryod was stronger than Lloyd, because technically it was Ryod that was fighting against Kenpachi, which would make even more sense of why Ryod was kind of mad at Kenpachi, because he basically killed his brother, going back to there. But wait a second, Lloyd lost against Kenpachi, who mimicked his powers, but Ryod won against Kenpachi, who did not mimic his powers. You know what, screw it, I don't freaking know anymore. They're both dead, game over. Okay, so anyway, Yamamoto asks him what he's been doing this so far, what's exactly his objective, and Juha states that it's what's underneath the 1st Division barracks, which, big shocker of the chapter, big huge thing that we finally realized why the Quincy's are even in the Soul Society to begin with. I was expecting they were just there to, like, not really a motive, like other people had a motive. Like, I figured their motive was just, you know, show up and destroy the Shinigami for wiping out their race. I didn't really think that far into it, but no, they do have an objective. Juha's objective is to go and to find the Central Underground Prison to meet Sosuke Aizen. Now, we don't exactly know why he wants to meet Sosuke Aizen. We do get a little backstory that he did ask him to become one of the war potentials earlier on. I mean, I guess this is before the whole him being defeated and everything, because I'm pretty sure Juha... I mean, technically, I'm assuming they could technically go into the prison because they have the shadow ability, but if that's the case, why don't they just liberate him then? Maybe it was impossible to get from the outside, or maybe just Juha, you know, showed up in front of Aizen back in Las Noches back when he was in control of the Iran cars, and he just asked him, like, you know, that is actually kind of interesting. I wonder how that meeting would have went. Okay, Yukiura, what's my schedule for today? Okay, well, Aizen, you have a 9 o'clock taunting Orihime about the Hogyoku, followed by a 12 o'clock tea session with the Espada. Oh, and 3 o'clock you have an appointment with the Vandonrika. I'm sorry, I only speak Spanish really well, sorry. Hey, Aizen-san, what's up, man? Hello, who are you people? Okay, man, so check it out. See, we're the Vondenreich. Basically, we're a bunch of discarded Quincy's that somehow came up with these weird powers that we're not really sure how we got yet, and I'm the leader, Juha Bach. And see, our thing is that we're going to go and purge the Soul Society to wipe out all the Soul Reapers for killing our ancestors. So I was just wondering, man, if you would be interested in, like, joining up with us as, like, our 5 war potentials, because that would be super sweet. Well, thank you for the offer, but right now I kind of got my own thing going on. See, I have these things called the Espada and this Hogyoku, and my goal is actually to become a giant butterfly god and take over the world and destroy the Soul Society. So, you know, thanks for the offer once again, but I'm going to have to decline. Oh, man, that really sucks, man. I really wish we could have worked things out, but, hey, just on the off chance you get defeated and your plan doesn't work, can we take control of Hueco Mundo and enslave all your Arancars? Well, yeah, I see no problem in that, but I'm pretty sure my plan's going to work. Yeah, okay, whatever, man. Check you later. Okay, right, so going back to the chapter, Juha kind of taunts Yamamoto did he use up all his Bankai strength when he was fighting against his fake, to which Yamamoto releases his Bankai and it immediately gets sealed. Yeah, granted, it doesn't get sealed for the same reason a lot of people thought it was going to get sealed. A lot of people in the last chapter, because Yamamoto said, you can only steal a Bankai when you know everything about it. But didn't you just reveal everything about it? Oh shit, no, but that's not really why it got sealed. Juha states that it's not because he couldn't seal the Bankai, it's because he expressly told Ryod and everybody else not to seal it because Juha is the only one that can actually seal it because he's strong enough. And I think I like that explanation a little bit more than Yamamoto's, just because Yamamoto's was a little bit vague description of how it was, like, how it could be sealed. When it comes with Juha, it's basically like, if you're strong enough, you can absorb it. So the other Stern Ritters, they're about on the equal level of the captains, if not stronger, so I can understand why they would be able to steal the captain's Bankais. But when it comes to Buckbeard or Juha or whatever, he would be probably the only person in the Stern Ritters strong enough to absorb Yamamoto's. So yeah, Yamamoto's Bankai has been sealed, and for some reason he decides not to try using his Shikai right away. Instead he charges at Juha, who then summons a giant bow from the sky somehow and shoots down his epic broadsword as a spirit weapon. Not exactly sure of the reason why he had to summon a giant-ass bow and arrow to shoot the sword down from the heavens, but it was pretty badass. We get a full-page spread of Juha looking all around intimidating. Hey, so yeah, remember last chapter when you cut down one of my subordinates with a giant-ass sword? Kinda? Yeah, well, irony's a bitch, motherfucker!
Fatality.
Okay, so yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Yamamoto gets cut down. We're probably not dead, but he does get cut down quite severely. His Bankai is stolen. Juha he actually taunted Juha. I mean, he actually taunted Yamamoto if he should use Yamamoto's Bankai to defeat him, which he didn't. Well, then again, no, that might have been... See, I'm a little bit split on that, because... the last attack that he used kind of resembled Zanko no Tachi North, but it was summoned with a giant bow and arrows, so I'm not really sure. He did taunt him for a little bit, like maybe I should use the South ability to summon all of the your enemies that you defeated, all the Stern Ritters to come back. I mean, all the Shinigami that I defeated to come back and defeat you. But I guess he just settled for his normal Quincy abilities and just cut down Yamamoto that way. Regardless, I'm pretty sure Yamamoto's going to be taken out of the fight. He's probably not going to be dead. What I can see happening in the next chapter is probably something very similar to what happened with Aizen. When Aizen fought Yamamoto, Yamamoto did get beat down, and Aizen kind of approached him, and he's like, yeah, I gotta kill you, because if I leave you alive, that's way too dangerous. And I think at the last second, Ichigo showed up and did something. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's going to, be something like that, where he's probably going to, approach Yamamoto for the killing blow, and then someone else shows up and, defends Yamamoto, maybe Shoraku or Unohana or somebody. But yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Big question, of course, is why does Juha necessarily want to meet with Aizen? We did get a little bit of hint that it's because of he was one of the war potentials, but if you already asked him that and Aizen declined, why else would he come to be there? What exactly does he want from Aizen? Does he think that if he frees Aizen, they're going to be allies? I mean, why do you even need him to begin with? I mean, you're doing a pretty good job of owning the entire Seirete. This chapter's title was called The Extinction. You wiped out the head captain. The world is your freaking oyster from now on. Assuming that Yamamoto was one of the war potentials, which he most likely was. We have Yamamoto, who is defeated. Ichigo, who is locked in the Garganta. Kenpachi, who I'm still not 100% was a war potential. We did get a statement he was, but I heard that might have been a translation error, but whatever, let's just say he is. Third war potential, he's gone. So really we only have 2 more. Other than that, you're pretty much taken care of. But yeah, what's your guys' opinion on this chapter? Why does Juha want to free Aizen? You think Yamamoto's dead, which honestly I don't think he is, because I don't think they would end the head captain's reign so easily. But it is kind of a change of pace, where we see, you know, last 4 chapters, Yamamoto was pretty much owning every chapter he was in. And the thing that really sucked is that Yamamoto really didn't need to do all that stuff. He really did not need to go all overkill on well, he thought it was Juha. He could have easily defeated him with Zanko no Tachi East. I don't see any doubt in my mind why he couldn't have. Zanko no Tachi East didn't work. Maybe you can push for West. Maybe you can justify going into West mode. But summoning the whole army of hell, that was, you didn't have to do that, man. You had the whole thing under control. I think that's pretty much just like, oh man, I haven't done my Bankai in like 2,000 years. I really want to summon hell. I haven't really done it in so long. I really want to summon hell. Oh, you know, screw it. I'm just going to do it anyway. Maybe it was something like that. But anyway, yeah, that's my chapter review, guys. Tekking101 signing out. October. Maybe I'll get some more Halloween-themed horror reviews out. I'm going to plan on doing some more horror-themed anime this month, so look out for that. So yeah, Tekking101 signing out. See you guys.